everybody, Prowl here, and I am ready to go over another Minecraft Marketplace add-on with you guys. This one really caught my eye, and I did some testing with it during stream, and I have some interesting thoughts to share with you about it. And this is the Easy Redstone add-on by Overtails Studio. This add-on can be purchased for only $3, so it's very inexpensive. And I wanted to take a look at it and see how good exactly is this, because it is advertised as a way to easily add redstone contraptions into your world. They're like little advertisement video on it. It shows some pretty cool features and different redstone builds. And me seeing this, my initial thought was, okay, like this seems like it's targeted to people that maybe don't know redstone but want to learn it and add redstone stuff in their world. So let's go over how it works first. And then I have a whole bunch of its builds lined up here, not all of them, but a bunch of them. And I'll probably touch on a couple of those just to kind of share some of my thoughts. And then finally, I'll wrap it up with some suggestions and recommendations. So it starts with this guy, the drafting table, and I guess not only the drafting table, but there's a little like instruction booklet here too. And in this book, it just gives you all the basic information to craft the drafting table, which you're going to use. You're going to need a few planks, a book, a crafting table, a couple of iron ingots, and a block of redstone. And that will give you this guy, the drafting table. Pretty cool looking little thing. I like the model. It's pretty awesome. I like that the lever on it is a redstone torch, and the little blueprint layout is really cool as well. When I click on this, it's going to give me three different options. The menu layout here is very clean. It's very easy to understand. We have the small, the medium, and the large size layouts, and we can remove the drafting table, which just breaks it for you because you can't break it by punching it. I guess they don't want you to accidentally knock it up when you're doing stuff. Now, when you click on any one of these, we'll click the small size here. You again have another menu that is very easy to look at and understand. I really like the way that they laid things out here. It's nice and simple. Minecraft menus in Bedrock Edition don't really have a lot of options for the creators to do like things with them. So when you have something that's at least this neat and organized, this is about as good as you can get. I like it. You have a little picture, you have the name of the farm, it tells you what it is and what it does. You can go back here and go to the medium size, scroll through, and then the same thing again going to the large size farms. Now, when you click on this farm and you select the farm you want, we can pick any farm here, really. It doesn't matter too much. We will get a blueprint layout of that farm. Let's use the automatic cactus farm as an example. I'm going to click that. I'm going to hit accept. This tells me the materials that I need. Requirements, random tick speed should be enabled. I guess that's always enabled by default. So I guess if you turned it off though, it wouldn't work. So they want to give you that. I guess that's fine. It might confuse people, but it's whatever. And I love this. You get this like chalkboard, whiteboard thing that tells you the required materials. So what you have to do is you have to go get these materials, and then you bring them back here. And once you have all of these things in your inventory, which I do, you can then go up to the blueprint thing and hit build structure, but you have a couple of other settings too. You can rotate the structure if you want to, just to have it face a different direction. And there's some basic settings here for the visual display that you get. First of all, they have these cute little guys here. It look like they're kind of working inside of it. That's kind of neat. Fun little effect. But you can see kind of what the farm looks like it's going to be. You have chests here, you have hoppers here. If you know what you're looking at, you can tell this is probably water flow, the way it comes down. And then I know that those are little flying fence posts, and we have sand, and we have cactus. Now, once I have all my stuff, I go up to here, click, build, insert, and it built it for me. Now you can kind of see what this thing looks like. I was a little bit wrong about what was there. That is a solid block, and then it's sand, and then it's the cactus. But you can see it built what it showed it was going to build, kinda. We gave it like a lot of different blocks here. You see, like there was no quartz or concrete or frog lights, or I think that's concrete as well. Like some of these things weren't there, but some of them were, right? Like you have 4 iron blocks. Well, it's telling you to bring that for the hoppers that are here, to flow everything into the hoppers. So you'll need the iron to make the hoppers, obviously. You'll need the wood to make the chest, to craft the hoppers and to craft the double chest there. and to also craft the fences that are here too. For the most part, this is pretty close, but as you can see, it's not a 1-for-1 of everything you need. They give you all this extra stuff. This is a lot of glass, 96 glass. I guess that's about right for how much glass it said we need. And then the 96 blocks there, I'm guessing are the blocks that were used to make this, although something tells me there's more than 96 total building blocks here. But they wanted you to gather some type of block to kind of pay towards making the system. Now, once you have this up, you can change the color scheme of it too. So I could change it to black. This part's kind of cool, like the fact that you could do this and make it look like whatever color you want it to look like. And I do have a lot of feedback about this, but as a feature for the way that this thing works right now, it's honestly kind of cool. Basically, that's how it all works. Regardless of what size structure you pick, you're going to have a material list of things that you need to get. You input those things in, and then poof, there's your build. Now, I have a lot of problems with the way this is done. This is a sugarcane farm right here, and I just want to show you. And if I go to the table, I go to here, I pick the sugarcane farm. You can see here, like, this is the material list. These things don't really, like, there's mud blocks here. Like, this uses mud blocks, but I don't have to gather mud blocks here. Also, they have you pay diamonds, I guess is kind of like a currency in some manner to do some of this. Okay, I guess. Obviously, there's no diamonds needed in this build. And then a lot of the other things, at least in this one, seem to be kind of balanced. Now, I've noticed among going through and doing all of these, that that's not always going to be the case. For example, this guy right here did not require me to input any sugarcane or any bamboo to make the farm. And I believe here, if I get all of these things and I build this, right? So I built this thing. I get to select my resource. I don't have to have the sugarcane or have to have the bamboo on me. I just pick it and it automatically inserts it. So you don't have to go get your initial amount of sugarcane, bamboo. That's also the case with the melon and pumpkin farm here. It does not tell you to collect melons or pumpkins, but then when you go build structure, insert materials, then you get the melons and pumpkins to select, and it just automatically inserts them in there for you. Here's another one right here. We have we'll go over why I don't like this farm being labeled the way it is here in a moment. We have another farm where, like, the materials that this thing requires for you to make aren't necessarily the materials that are here. There's no dirt required. Easy enough to get, right? But it's just something that's not there. It requires cobblestone to make the dispensers here. Actually, these are dispensers, so you have to have a bow to make dispensers for each one of these. So it's just kind of giving you free dispensers. On top of this, there's another actual interesting thing that I found out. I could actually use this in my survival world to basically farm dispensers. I could go through and pop every single one of these out and pick them all up, and then come back up to this guy and say reset structure, hit accept, and then it just puts my stuff back in there. It has the ability of being abused in a survival setting by quite a bit. Another thing that I really don't like about this is some of the farms are good, right? It's not the most efficient sugarcane farm or bamboo farm, but it's a farm. It's a design that people have used. I've used this type of design or similar enough to this in the past. But then when you get down to something like, I don't know, even this guy right here is not super efficient, right? Because usually you would use the checkerboard style pattern to do this. You fit way more, or you get way faster results from your farm if you do that. So this is not the most efficient manner of laying this out. And it would take the same amount of space and same amount of blocks, just configured a little bit differently. This is a flower farm. I've seen these on Java Edition before, the shifting floor designs. This is the absolute worst way to make a flower farm on Bedrock Edition, because you can just bone meal the flour and get all the flour that you want. This is not something that anybody in Bedrock Edition would potentially use. This guy right here is called an automatic crop farm. It is far from automatic. It just uses water to flush all of the stuff down. You have to press the button to harvest it. And then you have to hop up in here and plant the stuff back down yourself. So this is not automatic. I had problems with that. This is an egg farm. It's just chickens inside of a pen with hoppers underneath. I have so many problems with a lot of these. This right here was one of the more embarrassing ones that I've seen. This is a bone meal farm. But literally all it's doing is you're just putting your crops and stuff that you want to compost into a chest here a barrel, and then it's putting it into hoppers. This right here does the exact same thing that this does. They're the same farm.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
But this required a whole bunch of materials, a big build to use. And overall, like this is not teaching anybody anything about redstone. This is teaching you the wrong way to do stuff. So I'm not happy with a lot of these different designs. You have a stone generator that makes just as much cobblestone, if not more cobblestone than it makes stone. So that one's not cool. You have a automatic sheep shearing farm, which I've made plenty of these in the past. And I thought, oh, okay, this will be really cool. It's not an automatic sheep shearing farm. The sheep, you have to literally flick the lever to shear the sheep. There's nothing automatic about it at all. You flick the lever and it does the same thing as if you just click the sheep yourself. It's very suboptimal. The grass doesn't have an easy way to spread very quickly. I've never seen a more embarrassing automatic sheep farm in my life. So like there's just so many things in here. There's a few good ones, but there's so many of them that just are not good. Oh, here is another one. You have an iron farm right here. So I've made plenty of these and it does technically function, but there's so many things wrong with this farm to where I would never recommend somebody use this in their world under any circumstance. The beds, the pillows are facing outwards. They're supposed to be facing inwards to set the center of the farm more centered in the platform. And then all the villagers are just standing on top of the profession blocks, which eventually, through a couple day night cycles, those villagers are probably going to swap profession blocks around, not be able to walk to their profession block, and at some point the villagers are not able to work at their workstations and the farm stops working. So I would call this a non-functional farm almost from the start. You have other things like this, mob farms, that just give you free mob spawners wherever you want to have them. You could probably, in a very like cheaty way, figure out ways to like rebuild this thing multiple times and stack it and just get a bunch of spawners in one area. Again, it's kind of cool. Like it's a fun little like design. It looks good. But again, that was something that just did not strike me right and seemed very cheaty. You have an automatic smelter system here that is not the optimal way to do that at all. Not even close. I could do one way more simple and look a lot better than what this one does. Their gold farm design up here, this thing doesn't even actually work right. This is a lava lit system, which I don't personally use, but I do get them. I do understand them. Like it doesn't even flicker the dispensers back here to force light the portals faster. So it just works on the lava sitting there and naturally spreading the fire. It's incredibly slow. And on top of that, like none of these mob-based farms use trident killers at all. So you're not killing the mobs as quickly, efficiently. You're not automatically killing them. You have to manually do it. So there's that problem with the farms as well. So ultimately, while I like the design aspect of it in terms of the interfaces and the way that you do stuff is kind of cool, I don't think I would recommend this to anybody. At first, I was coming into this thinking I might get this for my kids. Like they can learn how to do redstone stuff. And after poking around just a little bit, the way this add-on functions right now, even at $3, I would not add this into a world. I would not have my kids use this because they're not going to learn anything except the wrong way to do stuff, honestly. I do want to leave some feedback though, because this add-on can definitely be like saved. It can be redeemed. It could be useful. First of all, you guys got to do your research a little bit more in the types of farms that you use. The ones that aren't truly automatic farms that aren't really doing anything, just get rid of them. This doesn't need to exist. That bone meal one, this doesn't need to exist. I would rather you give them this and just dress it up to look nice than give them this. Number two is your material list is nowhere near exact. And a lot of times, like this guy, for example, the bee farm, you don't even have to bring bees to this. The iron farm, you don't even have to bring villagers to it. So it shortcuts a lot of the like more adventure-y, like hard part to do rather than telling you as the player to do it yourself. And I don't like that. I feel like the purpose of this should be to teach people how to do these things and make it super duper easy for them to figure it out from that point on how to do it. And instead, you're just kind of doing it for them. You're just giving them free stuff. You're giving them free materials and you're giving them free mobs and all this kind of stuff. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So instead, what I would recommend that you do is when this little thing pops up here for whatever the farm is, give them a full material list I don't know how you're going to do it because I see you don't have a lot of space here. Maybe like a button click on here to like cycle through or something like that. But give them a full material list of the actual exact materials that they need to make the farm. Maybe you tell them like they need like a certain number of hoppers, right? And then if they click on the hopper on the thing, maybe it like does a little change and it shows them how to craft the hopper and the materials they need for that or whatever. I don't know. But have them get the exact materials. Don't have them just feed it a price and then pop you out something, because it's not teaching them how to do anything. And then my next thing, and I think my last thing, would be maybe have it be an option, but I kind of like it not being an option. I would have the player build it themselves. So give them the blueprint. I love this blueprint. It looks really cool. You would maybe shade and change some things, right, to make it a little bit easier to see, but have them go in and place all of the blocks down themselves. So then they kind of look at and learn what it's doing. They'll come over here and they'll build the crafter thing. And then if they're paying any kind of attention, they'll learn how this circuit works to make the crafter do the crafter thing. And I think that would be really good for players. And then this is kind of tied to both of these, the materials part and this part of like building it. Give them required and then give them like a certain amount of like solid blocks, right? And you color code it or something. So that way you're not giving them free blocks here, but instead you're having them put whatever blocks they want in. Or maybe you could even have some generic blocks here that are like, you know, whatever, a wood or stone or whatever, right? And then they can come in and they could put those in if they want to, or they could choose their own blocks. They know how many to get for that particular section and they build it themselves. And then they can make the farm look like whatever they want it to look like. So you can give them a basic option. Maybe you even give them like this option right here, and that will change what their presets are in here, but they can also just fill in whatever they want. And that would be fine too. So that way they don't have to worry about figuring out the aesthetics if they don't want to. But if they do want to, then they can. But either way, you got to make them get the blocks. So ultimately, we need better quality farms here. We need to get rid of some of the ones that are just kind of useless. And there's plenty of them that just don't work or don't work right. You need to fix or replace those and get some better designs for those. Make the players get all of the blocks and all of the things, and then have the players build it themselves and actually learn something. So overall, $3 is a nice cheap price. The concept, the idea behind this is honestly really, really cool. I really like it a lot. The implementation just is not great. Would I advise you to spend $3 on this? At this time, no. But if I hear about any kind of update that makes this pack any better, I'll do a follow-up video to cover it, talk about it, and let you guys know. I appreciate you watching today's video, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.